Good morning, or at least I think it's still morning. I was going to make this video this weekend while I was still at the Big Valley Days uh, event over in Aden, California, but I was pretty hot and I was stinging an awful lot because I was hot. And so I was just focusing on getting through and staying present and being able to interact with the people that would come up to the publishing booth. So I didn't really feel right just talking to the phone like I am now. As you can see, I'm currently on my deck in my backyard because it's nice out and I do need a little bit of sun every day. I got a lot of sun this weekend, but I still need a little bit every day. Vitamin D levels are important. Trust me on that. Where was I? Yes, Big Valley Days. Well, it went pretty decently, I thought, considering the fact that probably about half the valley was mobilized and out there busy fighting the at least 3 fires that had popped up in the area just a bit before the shindig was to start. So I didn't get to see my mom very much, which was a little bit disappointing, but I did get to see some old friends and some old teachers, and that was nice. 17 years in between. I forget the last year that it was held, but I was told that it had been 17 years since they had been able to have one. So, I mean, that explains why I wasn't going over. Because it hadn't occurred to me that while my kids were little, I hadn't been taking them to Big Valley Days, and that was because it wasn't happening. Otherwise, they would have seen the kids of my friends while they were growing up a whole lot more and been a whole lot closer to their adopted cousins through my friends who were like sisters to me. So, yeah, there was that. First day, it was really, really hot. And our first sale of the day was 4 kids at once wanting a pair of wings each. So we made 4 pairs of wings. We had 3 blanks ready, three blank sets. So we had to make up another blank set real quick so that they could go decorate them. And we strung them for them and helped them put them on. And then they ended up with 4 crowns. So my son's crafting stuff spawned a whole darn fairy court. That was pretty cool, I thought. And I talked to some kids about fairies and dragons, and that was really cool. And there was a whole lot of other discussions that I'm honestly too tired and bleary still to remember. Everything just kind of flowed together. It would be busy, and then it would be calm and busy and calm, like that. So there was that. The second day, we ended up having to move from, well, not having to move. We were given the option of moving to a better space, which I took them up on. We wound up being put pretty close to the car, actually, which made loading when it was time to pack a whole lot easier for Merlin and I. So we were basically there right in front as you walked in from the parking lot. The whole publishing pavilion thing just there on the little corner. It was cool. But yeah, it had rained the night before, and it was, it threatened raining some more. It drizzled a little bit at one point, so that was interesting. Managed to keep everything secure. Wind kicked up as wind does. Out here, I mean, the whole area is logging country, so you got to expect that because How else are you going to dry your trees? You cut them down, you lay them in piles, and you let them dry, and they dry faster in windy areas. And well, there is, or at least was, a lumber mill in Aden, and you can still see the drying kiln there to this day if you're driving through on 299. It's there. So yeah, and you can still see the old lumber mill in Bieber, also on 299 as you're driving through. Although it is no longer operational either. That shut down. I think it was 97. I was still in high school when that happened, so that kind of shot a lot of my classmates in the foot because several of them had intended on being loggers. Yeah. So anyway, Big Valley Days went down okay. Yeah. Sales were actually pretty decent, even considering the severely reduced amount of people that were there. A lot of fun was had. There was a lot of people at the beer booth, as one would imagine at such events. Food was good, and I am really hoping that it occurs next year, because if it does, well, I'm certainly going to be trying to get over there again. I like to see my mom. I like to see my friends. I like to have some time outside sometimes. And, I like chatting with people every once in a while. Sometimes I get the whatever it is that makes people almost outgoing. Almost outgoing. So, yes. And now I'm going away. I'm going to go hide under my rock again. Bye.